Welcome to another episode of Emerald Echo, a Green Lantern podcast. As always, I'm your host, Adam. With me is my co-host, Donnie, the Emerald enthusiast himself, and we have a special guest. So, Donnie, as always, introduce our special guest as only you can do.
Okay. What's up, fans? It's the Emerald enthusiast, the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy. But today, we have a special guest. He has worked for both DC and Marvel. He is an international sensation. He is a penciler, an inker, a cover artist. His work ranges from Mr. No to Shazam, but you will know him from both Green Lanterns and the current Green Lantern series written by Jeffrey Thorne. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Marco Santucci.
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
Thanks to you.
So we're just we've got, as you know, we have a few questions for you. So we'll just get started and you just answer them to as best as you can. So is there a specific moment in time that you can remember that you wanted to be a comic book professional, like an artist? Is there a moment that you can remember?
Absolutely, yes. Because as many artists, obviously, I always draw. Since when I was a child, I draw everything. But I like it to not only to draw the drawing itself, but I loved to, and still love to tell the story with my drawings. But until a specific point, I didn't think to turn this passion in a work.
Mm-hmm.
And this moment was about in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
It was a period where I was about 15, and I was a comic fan. I was reading comics, especially about Marvel comics. I was a big fan of Spider-Man. And in that period, there was a sensational new artist that was very famous, and he drew in an incredible way Spider-Man. The artist was Todd McFarlane.
I knew exactly what he was going to say.
Okay. Yeah. And when I saw the Todd's work on Spider-Man, they really hit me hard. And I tried to copy his works. If you take a look to my works today, it seemed impossible, but I started copying Todd McFarlane. And because I was so fascinated by his style, his way to, if you want to deform the anatomy, to create these hyperkinetic scenes. Obviously, the comics in the 90s was really hyperkinetics in general, but yes. Todd obviously was one of the best from this point of view. And I tried to do some drawings about his, inspired by him. And at some point, I decided to send one of these drawings to the publisher that in Italy was publishing the Spider-Man stories, because there was a part of the books where they review the works from the inspiring artists, the people that wanted to be an artist.
Yes.
And I sent my terrible draw to them.
I'm sure it was great.
Sorry?
I'm sure it was good.
I'm sure it wasn't terrible. No.
It was terrible. I
can't draw at all, so.
And after about 2-3 months, I sent it. I found it was there August 1991. I really remember it very well. And they published a review about my draw, and it was a terrible review, and they lied. But I was enthusiastic about the fact that they published my name on the book. They, even if they said that my work was terrible, was awful, but that fact, instead of stopping me, it inspired me to go on and keep working on that.
Yes.
And from that point on, I never do that, to study the drawings, and all the aspects of this amazing work. And so I've been so lucky to find a professional artist that live near my city. And obviously he didn't work for a USA, but he worked and still works for an Italian, the bigger Italian publisher here in Italy. He worked on Tex. I don't know if you know Tex. He's a very famous comics in Italy. He's a Western comics.
Yeah.
And I bring my stuff to him, and from that point on, I start to study the drawings, so the anatomy, the chiaroscuro, the composition, the perspective, everything. And obviously working in Italy and starting working in Italy, my style turns in something more realistic, and still is realistic. I still prefer to draw in a realistic way.
Yes.
On what you can see also on Green Lantern.
You can see it definitely, for sure. Yeah.
And so that bad review about my work in 1991 was the moment that I decided to be a professional artist.
That's awesome. That's great. And I like that you were inspired by Todd McFarlane, because I'm in Canada and he's Canadian, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And Venom is my favorite Marvel character, so obviously I was inspired by Todd as well, very much so.
Yeah. He created the Venom, right?
Yes, co-created. Yes.
Fantastic.
Okay, sir. What does a typical workday for Marco Santucci look like?
Well, I'm lucky enough to have my studio inside my house, just like my wife, that do the same work, but on another studio inside our house. And so in the morning I woke up not too early because I prefer to work late, but not wake up early.
Okay.
And I start working so around the 9 p.m. a.m. Sorry, a.m. 9 p.m. a.m.
That's all right.
The time zone, and
I know it's crazy. Yeah.
And I go on basically for all the day. I take some relax on the lunchtime, but I work from the 9 a.m. to the about 8 p.m. In the day. In fact, before starting this interview, I've just finished the page.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
From issue 8 of Green Lantern.
Oh, nice.
And well, I spend all my day in this little studio around my pages, around my tools, around my action figures. And,
well, if you're around the action figures, it's not bad.
Yeah, not too much. I have only a few of them.
Yeah.
Spending all day with Green Lantern, that sounds like a dream.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely. I love it to work on Green Lantern and working with a so great team, because I have to say that it's a great pleasure working with Jeffrey Thorne, Tom Raney, and Andrew Marino, that is the editor of the series, and all the people from DC Comics that is giving me this big opportunity to work on these amazing characters.
Yeah,
I'm very happy.
the book is really, really good. It's fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
So speaking of Green Lantern, what was your first exposure to Green Lantern? Like, when did you first see him?
Oh, well, obviously, just like a lot of children, I met Green Lantern with the cartoons. Because here in Italy, I remember the Justice League cartoons.
Yes.
And obviously, after that, I read some comics about Green Lanterns. I have to say that, unfortunately, in Italy, until some years ago, the DC wasn't distributed so very well in Italy. So I read about the DC characters, not like I read the Marvel characters, for example, but I read enough to know the characters in a way.
Right.
And obviously after that, in the last years, DC is well distributed in Italy, so it's good. I know the characters better now, and obviously this isn't the first time that I work on these characters, because I worked on Green Lantern exactly. Exactly, Green Lanterns.
53.
19. Yeah. In 2018, yes. And that was my first experience on Green Lanterns, because Mike Perkins, who was drawing the series, needs some vacation. So for 3 issues, I helped him on the artistic part of the work. And I have to say that Mike influenced me a lot about the way I work now. What's now? Because when I started to work for DC Comics, I was working at the beginning in digital. That is not a thing that I like, honestly, because the digital is fast, is nice, but for the point of view of the quality, in my opinion, is not the best. But I was trying to go faster in that period that I was working in digital. But when I saw that Mike was able to do what they do on paper, I immediately turned my work again on paper, because for a big part of my career, I worked for Italy and I worked on paper. After that, for a period, I worked in digital for, let's say, for production matter. But when I started to work on Green Lanterns for DC, I come back to paper. That from them I never stopped to that. And another nice thing that Mike taught me was how to render the construct, the green construct, because you render them with the gray tones, because in this way you can give to the construct a different value. I don't know how to explain it well in English, but they have to seem real, but not a little transparent. Yes. So gray tones are great for that point of view. So I took inspiration from Mike for this, and that's why you see my pages with all that gray tones that I'm using today, for example.
Yeah, I'm really impressed when an artist can draw all the different constructs, because it takes a lot of imagination to do that. And if it was me, I'd be drawing the same thing over and over again. And it'd be a stick figure.
Well, obviously, this is a work that requires a lot of years to do that. So it's normal at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. So before I ask the next question, I want to point out that Marco has a plethora of offerings on his website Green Lantern original art.
Yeah.
Featuring from this run, the Jeffrey Thorne run, also with Tom Rainey. He has originals. If you want to go to his website, we're going to put up the information so you can go and look at those. Please, buy something from him. So
Definitely.
Thank you.
okay. So, sir, now describe your experience working with Jeffrey Thorne.
Oh, my experience is amazing because Jeffrey is a great writer, and I love working with him on Green Lantern because he's a very specific writer. His way to write the scripts is very similar to the script that from Italy, for example, very classical scripts, no Marvel way scripts. So every panel is well descripted. Every dialogue is already on the script, and I love it because I prefer this kind of script. I want to satisfy at 100% what the writer asked to me, and I want to turn his words in something visual at 100%. And so I really appreciate that Jeffrey is so specific. Sometimes he describes a lot of things, stuff that you don't see on the pages, but they are useful for me as an artist. For example, it describes to me the feeling of the characters, so I can show their emotions on the faces, and so. And moreover, Jeffrey is very precise because he sent to me all the references about the things that he describes on the scripts, and as you have seen on the series, there are a lot of how to say that. References about a lot of stuff of the DC universe, different stuff, and every time you have to go to find references to see how a specific character is made. For example, the very first scene that I drew of Lantern was the scene that you can see on issue number 1, where there is the Galactic Council. With all those aliens.
Oh my God!
It was a huge scene, and in that scene there are not only a lot of aliens, but more. The big part of those aliens are specific races. Specific aliens of the DC universe.
Yes.
So Jeffrey sent to me all the reference, and obviously the editors from DC sent to me specific references about those characters, those aliens. So
wow,
it has been a huge work, and I have to say that. To start with Green Lanterns, it was a very difficult page, double page, because it's huge.
I can imagine. It was a beautiful page, though. It was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
But you also talk about the expressions, drawing expressions. There was one panel in particular that I really loved out of the recent issue. It was, and in fact, I think the original art is available on your website now. It's Sinestro and Joe facing one another. And they're kind of contemplating one another as to whether she thinks he's a liar. And the expressions are gorgeous there because you're telling so much just from those expressions. It's just a wonderful panel.
Thank you. But well, I have to say that that scene can seem simple, but in my opinion, that kind of scenes are the most difficult ones, because when you draw something that you don't see in the everyday life, you can use your imagination, you can use, and you can draw whatever you want, because the people is not used to see something impossible.
Mm.
But when you have to draw a simple dialogue between two characters, it's very important to take care of the expressions of the faces, the acting of the bodies, and that example is perfect for explaining how Jeffrey is really took a lot of attention to these aspects. He write to me, make Sinestro with this specific expression, Joe look in that specific way. So I have to say that I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to show the scene, and I loved working on that scene because it was a little scene, but very intense, very strong.
Yes,
very,
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, Donnie was talking about his favorite panels. What's your favorite panel that you've drawn so far from Green Lantern?
Oh, obviously there isn't only one panel.
Of course.
One of my favorite, I have to say, that is the indeed the first double splash of the Galactic Councils, because it took a lot of time to do that.
I can
But
imagine.
in one time I drew so many characters, so many races, aliens, and I love that panel. Another panel, maybe, let me check, because I don't want to say things that not out yet. Let me see.
Oh, sure. Go ahead and tell us about one that's not out yet. Go ahead.
Don't get him in trouble.
Okay.
Don't get him in trouble.
Okay.
You can't blame a man for trying.
Okay. My very new favorite panel actually is a splash page that I drew for issue 7. So it's not out yet. So so I can't show it to you, but
Okay, yeah.
the very first page I drew for issue 7 is my favorite.
Okay, we'll look out for that one.
Okay.
Read it,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make a comment on it when we review. We'll make a special shout out for that panel for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
I think you like it.
I'm sure we will. Your art is amazing.
Yeah. Well, now I can't wait for it. So
Because I buy the book digitally from Comixology, and they have the guided view that you could do you could focus on specific panels. You know how many times I'm just looking at the art and 5 minutes goes by, I'm like, oh, I gotta keep reading.
yeah.
The artwork is so good that you zoom in, zoom out, and you pick up all the different little things. So that's one of the good things about reading digitally is you can pick up things because you can zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good also for my work because obviously I have a lot of comics inside my studio, but at some point it was faster to keep all that books and comics and references inside my iPad. So I started. I have to say that I love the paper.
Oh, me too.
But to reading and to find a specific book is faster if you look on the
absolutely. And you
Yes.
run out of space.
Right.
Yeah. It's a matter of space, in fact.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is.
Yes, absolutely. It's good because in this way you can study, for example, from my point of view, you can study the work of the other artists. Maybe you can see specific signs on the art that the artists have done of the original art, and if you can zoom the pages, it's easier to see that specific particulars.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Donnie.
Well, let's close the show here by asking you one last question. Who is Marco Santucci outside of being the acclaimed artist? What are things that give you satisfaction?
Okay, well, obviously outside my work, I'm a proud husband of Maria Laura Sanapo. That is my wife. Is another great artist, a young artist, but she really growing very well, and I'm proud of her. And I have to say that I haven't a specific hobby outside my work because I turn my hobby in a work. So the only thing that I do outside the work is, for example, in the last year, I play tennis, so I can move a bit because it's not healthy to stay all the day sitting.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
And I like to travel when we can.
Yes.
Obviously now is impossible.
That's true.
And I'm lucky because it's fantastic to travel with my wife for pleasure or for work. We travel a lot around the work. Around the world, I have to say, and I hope to come back to the traveling as soon as possible.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. The situation here in Italy is good now, but it's difficult to came, for example.
Every day is a different day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we are really sad that we can't came to New York Comic Con this year.
Yeah.
Just like last year, that wasn't New York Comic Con.
Well, I haven't been to a convention in years. I would love to, but where you gonna go now? But no, that's great, and it's cool that your wife is also an artist. That must be pretty fun. You can share, compare work, give her tips to each other. It's nice to have that.
For me, is a fantastic thing because when as you said, when I need or when she needs to have a feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple because I go upstairs or she came downstairs and we.
It's not like you have to send the email, then wait. Okay.
Well, to tell you the truth, when we speak during the working day, we speak with Skype, just like an interphone because otherwise I have to
start shouting.
So it's not nice. So we use Skype to speak.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have one more question, if it's okay.
Yeah.
So aside from Green Lantern, if you got the chance to draw any DC character outside of the Green Lantern world, which one would you choose?
In this moment, I'd really like to draw Batman. Batman, absolutely.
I'm sure you draw a great Batman too. I could just imagine.
Yeah, I'd really love to work on that character. I have to say, yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Batman and Superman are my top two favorites. So.
Well, didn't he drew both in Injustice because he drew several Injustice books, right?
Yes, obviously, I already drew Batman and Superman, but in the Injustice version. I also drew them on Justice League issue some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to make a real Batman story. Batman story. It would be cool.
Yeah, it definitely would be. I would definitely, if DC ever does ask me, I'll tell them to push it. They won't ask me, but if they did, I tell them to give you some Batman work because I love it.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
I hope you stick around with Green Lantern for a while because, like I said, the work is fantastic. So
thank you so much.
We are both enjoying the book so much right now. So
I'm happy with it because I can assure you we put a lot of effort and work and time on these books, really.
Yeah.
And from a book to another, we all try to improve the final result, and you'll see that issue 7 will be great, and also issue 8 will be great because I'm finishing it next week. So
okay.
And
Awesome.
I can't wait to have your feedback about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
So-
definitely going to do a review. And if you
Yeah.
ever want to come back on the show, you just let us know and you can come back.
Yes, we would
When you
most
want.
definitely like to have you back. Yeah. By the way,
When you want,
buy
guys. When you want.
buy all these wonderful,
Great,
beautiful books.
great.
All
Buy the
these
books.
wonderful, beautiful books.
Buy the
Yay.
books and support.
Buy the original art. Send the man some money.
Yes, definitely.
Hey.
Yes,
Right.
buy his art for sure. Now, if people want to interact with you on social media, where can they find you?
Well, obviously they can find me on Facebook, on my personal account, or Marco Santucci Art, and
Okay.
also the same on Instagram, or with my website that is www.marcosantucciart.com. And that's all, I think. Yes, or Twitter if you want, Marco Santucci Art. So
Right.
you
follow,
can.
I
follow-
retweet a lot of his art there because he posts it and it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
And
just-
Thank you so much.
I
like
do
I
my
said-
best to send that around. Yeah.
I sometimes I get lost in staring at the art when I'm reading, so it's good. It's great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you for coming on again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll hope to have you back soon, and we'll talk again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. so
Thank
much.
you, sir, so much for your contributions to Green Lantern. We wish you continued health and success, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for reading it. Bye bye.
Thank you for
All right.
making it. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, there was our interview with celebrated artist and member of the Green Lantern team, Marco Santucci. That was quite fun, eh, Donnie?
That was a lot of fun. You know, I like how Jeff Thorne talks about, Team Lantern. You can tell that Marco is just so excited to do this and that he is putting so much passion into his work. It's just a wonderful experience to be able to talk to somebody who's responsible for creating this mythos.
Yeah, it's he gave us some really great. I really love that story about how he got into how he made the decision to get into comics.
Yeah.
Being inspired by Todd McFarlane. And
I knew what he was going to say because I've listened to interviews with him before. It was great to hear him say it on here, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to get him to say it on Emerald Echo.
I love. Now that I'm thinking about it, imagine him drawing Spawn. That'd be kind of like doing a Spawn image. That would be kind of cool. Or like, I'd imagine because he grew up with. We could have asked him this maybe next time, because he grew up loving Spider-Man. Maybe if he ever got a chance to draw Spider-Man.
He actually did draw Spider-Man. He did a couple Spider-Man books. I don't remember exactly which one, but I know he has. Yeah.
Why have I never seen them? Now I have something to do and go look up on these things. But I remembered that he had done previous Green Lantern, but I wasn't aware of the Spider-Man stuff. But what a fantastic interview. And in all the excitement, Donnie.
Yeah, he did Secret Invasion, an issue of Spider-Man, and also Siege. He did an issue of Spider-Man.
Yes,
so,
okay, now it's coming. Yeah. I have to go back and give those a look for sure. Just because he did the art. But I'd imagine that was a special experience, given that was the character that he.
It would most certainly have to be. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be like somebody telling me, draw an issue of the Batman and Superman book. I mean, the art would be so terrible that it'd probably that'd be the last issue ever, because who would want to look at my drawings? But it'd still be an honor to do. But no, that was a wonderful interview. And in all the excitement, we forgot to give we let him give his social media plugs, but we forgot to do ours. So we'll do that now. So Donnie, if after people see this interview, they want to come talk to you about it, where do they do that?
You can find me on Twitter as the Emerald Enthusiast. Let's talk comics. Let's talk collectibles. Let's talk Green Lantern. And by the way, again, if you want to see Marco draw other characters in the Green Lantern mythos that aren't currently in this run, you can go back to Green Lanterns number 52 through 54, and you can see his pencils here.
So now, Donnie, now if let's say they gave him a spin-off book where he had to draw your favorite lantern, North, would you buy that book?
Wait, what did you say? I thought you were getting ready to talk about Kyle, and I was like, wait a minute, whoa.
Oh, come on. I can't only poke fun at Phil Bobo all the time. I gotta do it to you too. But
That's
and
only
if-
fair, I guess.
Yeah, and if you want to listen, you and Stephen have been getting smart lately, so I have to tell you that. But if you want to follow me on social media, it's at Adam_Leafs fan on Twitter. Our Facebook page is in the link below. Click the link, I'll add you, and we can continue the conversation there. But we'll be back with you soon to cover more Green Lantern, more DC comics, more Marvel comics, more comics in general. And
Yes.
until that time, remember that Green Lantern and Marco Santucci's fantastic art is forever, from the first splash page to the last. So long, everybody.
So long, everyone.